Hello, how you guys doing out here? This is kind of I want to say impromptu because it sounds good, but let me show you guys something first. Let me show you a picture of my face, okay? And then I'm gonna show you what you're looking at here. It's my record of service. Date entered 90 July 12th. That's when I went into the Navy. And what does it say? Separation date B 93 August. What was that? When did I get out? 93 August 12th. 93 August 12th, I got out. I entered 90 July 12th. Reason I want to show you is because I hoping that I am going to reach individuals that I think I need to reach by saying what I'm about to state right now. The reason I showed you guys this date was because in November of 1991, Robert Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeff Epstein's running partner, Jeff Epstein's girlfriend was Ghislaine Maxwell. Her father, Robert Maxwell, was found dead floating in the Cayman Islands right outside the entrance to the Mediterranean Sea. You can Google this, Robert Maxwell. It'll tell you when and where he was found dead. The reason I showed you my DD-214 to prove to you that I was in the service at that particular time, and more specifically, that I was in the area when he was found dead, to support my claim that the United States military, U.S. government, used me to lure him so that they may, as you know, he's deceased now. Now, the reason for this video is I like to touch bases with a certain, how am I putting this, certain group of people. And what I mean by certain group of people, I'm speaking about Catholic priests, Catholic parishioners, bishops, or whatever, you have you, right? There's been a lot of heat dealing with the Catholic Church and the allegations of child abuse, things of that nature. And it appears to me, at least, that for years now, child abuse and the Catholic Church have been holding hands. Like it's the second thing you think about when you think of a Catholic priest. You think of child abuse. Let me explain why. There is an element in our society that makes sure that they have individuals to be in the church. Now, you will have those individuals that would be in the church because they have a profound love and respect for God. Then there would be a population of priests or parishioners or bishops that get involved with wow, get involved with the church because there is no other place for them to be and go for their own safety. And now let me explain what I mean by their own safety. if you take an individual at a young age and you've groomed this individual to the extent that they are psychologically abused, they are physically abused, they are sexually abused at an early age in life, then there is a high probability that they will go on as a younger and then as an adult and do the same thing that happened to them. And the only refuge that these individuals would have, being the recipients of this child abuse, this childhood trauma, is for them to seek refuge in the church, and the church protect them. The Catholic Church, as we have been seeing, the Catholic Church is protecting these pedophiles that happen to be priests. Now, let's stop and think for a moment. Did these priests that are alleged to have abused children, and many of the children are coming forward 10, 20, 30 years after the incident, did these priests get involved with the church to do that? Or were they already exhibiting, predatory behavior prior to joining the church, the Catholic Church specifically? What I believe, just me, is that these individuals, these priests, these parishioners of the Catholic Church, Catholic Archdiocese, these priests that are alleged to be child molesters and pedophiles, they did not join the church to become that. They joined the church as a result of that, as a way of seeking refuge and safety from the world that is so hostile to those type of individuals, and good reason so. So this video, I am going to send this video out to certain elements to let them know that a statement was made to me, and this statement was basically, it left me puzzled for a great while, and then I later on came to understand it. Someone like myself that have been through childhood trauma, sexual abuse, molestation at the hands of growing up in the foster care system in Illinois, finding out and discovering later that this was purposeful, that this was an agenda. Now, when I say an agenda, everyone knows that in our society there is a dislike for African Americans. There's a dislike for Africans, period. So in America, there has been the conspiracy, some would say, that there is a secret agenda, a conspiracy against Black African Americans to, one, effeminate them, turn them into homosexuals, to two, have African Americans kill each other, being involved with gangs and street life. Three, because of the abuse that they've been subjected to, end up being sexual deviants or pedophiles, which would end them up in jail, whether they would die, or institutions, jail, death. Yeah, that whole spiel, the AA spiel. So again, this video I'm making to appeal to a certain audience. This audience that I'm appealing to, hopefully, they are listening. Because what I'm saying right now is what I believe these individuals, this certain group of individuals that are a part of a institution that is protecting them. What I will say is, while most of you that have been abused coming up as children and then later turned to the church to renounce those things that you had been guilty of through no fault of your own, you not understanding why you exhibit behavior, the sexual deviancy. I understand. I see this almost clear as day, and I'm going to thank the creator I believe in. A creator, I will say again, that does not go by a name. And that's for a purpose. I choose not to give the glory to a creator that goes by the name of Allah. I choose not to give the glory to a creator that goes by the name of Buddha. I choose not to give the glory to a creator that gave his son so that others may live. Jesus. I choose not to give the glory to any creator, any offspring of a creator, because I personally believe we have names. Humans have names. Humans have named every celestial body that we've laid our eyes on. Who has truly laid eyes on the Creator, other than what we might read in a book, which was written by man? Who has truly seen the Creator to give the Creator a name? Why would the Creator need a name, and it is but one? So, me being spiritual, believing in something greater than me that I can firmly say has no name, out of reverence and fear at the same time of that which I believe created everything, it would be downright hypocritical to give a name to a creator that created me. How are you going to have a child and that child comes out, it says the ma, the pa, but 6, 8, 10, 11 years of age, I'm going to name you such and such. Your kid didn't create you to give you a name. You created that kid and gave that kid a name. I didn't create my creator. I can't give my creator a name like everyone else. My creator allowed me to exist. That's why I have a name, because others following the scheme, the normalcy, you have birth to a child, you give that child a name. Let me get to my point now. Priest, Catholic Church, clear cut to the point. There are a great deal, many of you that are or have come to be a part of the Catholic Church, not truly because you have a love and a fear of a creator, a God, but you have a fear of losing your life as a result of those things that you had done, which ran you into the church for protection, and the church has protected you. This is what I want to say. It goes without mentioning that as many priests that have come across the news as having done something, abused a child so many years ago, and it's still happening, the church has always covered you guys behind, almost like that's their job. You guys ever think about that? you're still no less a person, having done the things that you've done, which is wrong in society's eyes. But the church forgives you. You can stay as long as you do what the church wants you to do. It's almost like you're being held hostage for your very life. You're being protected. Your life that you hold in so high a regard that you still want to live your life in spite of those things that you've done, that you did not take the time to heal and understand why. This is what I'm telling you. You did not do, I'm speaking to priests, you did not do those things to hurt children purposefully. You were put in a situation where this was psychological abuse before it was sexual abuse. The worst thing a human can do to another human is tamper with them sexually, because sex is a natural thing. We cannot get around being involved in a sexual situation at any point of our life unless we have truly exercised our discipline. We truly come to master this body, this vessel, quote unquote, this craft. So I'll say to you guys, the pastors that are under the roof of the Catholic Church, being protected because you were viewed as sexual deviants and you found it better to live a life godly enough. But at the same time, it wasn't just that. You ran to the church because you were afraid for your life. Let me say, you were put in a position where you had no other choice. You either go to the church and your sins will be forgiven, and the church will pay out whatever amount of money for the things that you've done, and the church will continue to pay out money. Why? Because priests continue to go to the church to be protected, and people will continue to be abused, so they get a check, a handout. This sounds like an economic system working here. See, the part of this system that has to happen to kick it off is that you priests, you had to be abused first, psychologically, then sexually, for you to do those things to children. I know that because that's what happened to me. I choose and I have chosen to heal those things that happened to me once I was able to see the big picture. The big picture being that we were used at a young age for profit. Dare I say, some people sat back and said, this person, we're going to abuse them. They're going to end up being this type of way, and we're going to make money off of them. For example, we're going to abuse this youngster right here. He's going to grow up and he's going to molest children. He's going to have to run to the church for protection. And when he runs to the church for protection, the people that he abused, the kids he abused, they're going to come back later and they're going to sue the church and we're going to pay them. That's how that works. These people that were abused end up being somehow related or connected to secret societies. See, I myself, I refused to carry the burden or the cross that was put or placed upon me as a child, knowing full well any abuse that is done to a child, that is going to psychologically traumatize that child. Psychology has proven that if these things are not healed, they will manifest at later time in their life, as it did with a great deal many of you guys, you priests that are part of the Catholic Church. Understand the part that you play. As much as you hate things coming to light, what you did, I understand what you did. I understand why you did. This is what you guys need to understand. that you were but a pawn to be used, to be ridiculed at the expense of someone getting a check off of you. This is what I choose not to have happen to me, because I see how everything is connected to everything. And that is why I personally believe, again, as I stated, I believe in something so much greater than me that has allowed me to see everything that's happened, how this system works, how it's corrupt towards certain individuals primarily based upon racism. Now let me throw a rock in the way of racism real quick. We have Caucasians, we have Asians, we have Mexicans, a lot of people, a lot of different ethnicities on this earth that do not care for people of color. Let me say this really, really clear. How can a Mexican, excuse my language, how can a Mexican call a person of color a nigger? How can an Asian call a person of color a nigger? How can a Caucasian call a person of color a nigger? Why do I ask that question? Because there is one prototype here on this earth. That prototype is what all these ethnicities are calling nigger. You see, because niggers have full use of every part of their body as they're supposed to. The production, the tint in our skin to protect us from the one thing that provides life and sustenance to everything on this earth. We are protected from that, but yet we have individuals on this earth that can't stay in the sun like the African can. Those people that cannot stay in the sun like the African are not the prototype. Prototypes are designed to be flawless and work seamlessly in their environment. Africans work seamlessly and perform. They are outfitted for the environment. Caucasians, Asians, Germans, anybody else who do not secrete melanin to protect them from the sun are not the original species that walk this earth. What they are niggers too. Asians are niggers. Germans are niggers. Jews are niggers. Everybody come from niggers. The difference, here's the difference. Black people, African people, African descendants, we have protection. Those without this protection says that there is something in their body that does not do what it is supposed to do. That's why I say everyone on this planet is a nigger. The difference being those without color, those that are in bodies that do not secrete melanin, is because of a pineal gland that does not work the way it's supposed to. Because if it worked the way it was supposed to, everybody on this planet would have melanin in their body, on their skin, in their skin. Okay, so we're going to get this out the way. The conspiracy to effeminate people of color, the conspiracy to basically have black people kill each other, the gangs, be at each other's throats. This is all being done by a higher authority that do not have melanin, but they want to point and call somebody else a nigger. When you came from niggers, but the difference is the niggers you came from, their body works the way it's supposed to work. The people in high authority who do not have melanin, their body is not working the way it's supposed to work because they are not, again, the prototype. I say this again. Africans are the prototype. Hitler himself, in a homage to, I believe, Owens, during the 1940s or something like that, Olympics, he recognized, it's written, at least what they tell us, he recognized that the Germans he thought that were so superior had to pay homage to Owens to say, no, this person of color, they are at the top of the chain. Everything comes from the dark. You can't get dark from light. Everything comes from the dark. Everybody walking this earth come from what was at one time flawless. And as time went on, their bodies no longer could do what it was supposed to do. That's why we have the separation of color. Now let me get back on the topic. I am doing what I believe a great deal many of priests, Catholic, that are labeled as pedophiles, child abusers, are not doing, because they are in fear of their life. Because of the things that I have been subjected to and currently subjected to, I am no longer in fear of anything. I'm not in fear of my life. The reason why a lot of you are priests right now, because you were in fear of your life ending. I'm not in fear of that. And because I'm not in fear of that, I stand up against those things that happen to me so that I might be running to the church and being a priest like some of you guys out there. I refuse to be put in that position. And because I refuse to do that, what I believe that my Creator that I believe in wants me to do is to expose all of this. Everyone has a number. And one by one, everyone that has been involved in the preparation, the setting up children of color and others, not just children of color, but minorities, to be abused so that they later in life become, as I stated, sexual deviants, or go into a penal system, which in America, they privatize prisons. So that tells you they need people to be locked up so that people that own those prisons get paid. It is a scam. I'm not running with this. Everything I'm doing right now is in protest of what I've identified as a corrupt system. Mind you, I stated before, I volunteered to give my life to this country only to find out it was the country that I needed to have protection from. And this is the way that I choose to stand up. It's real simple. So what I'm asking of you that are involved with the Catholic Church, that are priests, understand the real reason why you chose to become a priest is because you were in fear of your life for those things that you had done. And the church was the only place that you could run, so you thought, because you knew of no one else, or you didn't want to admit to someone else the things you had done. But the church knew. The church knew you were even coming, because good chances you were placed in situations to see what you would do. Almost like they sacrificed children to you so that you did exhibit the manifestations of the child abuse that you went through at a young age. And once you did do that, they knew they had you for life. I'm not afraid of that. There comes a point, someone made a statement to me. Well, rather, it was in my head. Why do you want to kill yourself? I had me a nice little 9mm, nice car, had money in my pocket, but I was around no one because my life, while it seemed like I had just gotten a lotto ticket and I was going to have everything, that's when everything came down. Everyone around me was with, their hand out. And I wanted to kill myself because of the things that I had been through. And now I had to face those things. And I didn't want to face them. A voice in my head. I said to myself, I should kill myself. And the voice said, why do you want to kill yourself? Because I have nothing to live for, is what I responded. The voice in my head said, have you ever made your life worth living? That made me uncock the 9mm that I was going to blow my head off with. No, I haven't tried to make my life worth living. This is me making my life worth living right now. Me making my life worth living means exposing the bullcrap that certain organizations, certain people in certain positions, based on their biases, their racism, their prejudice against individuals, the distribution of wealth, might I add, in this country, picking and choosing who does what and who. I'm out of that. So truly, if something does terrible befall me, there will be hopefully evidence that I left here, I left there, I left here, I left there, to let people know this is what they did to one individual. And I say one individual because at this particular time in my life, I can't even say that the family that I believe was my brother and sister, I can't even believe that they truly were my family. And this has been perpetuated by me not knowing, I don't know the blood, where this blood comes from that's in my veins. Because I don't believe, as I said, the family I was with, they were really my family. The answers to who I really am lies in the books of certain secret organizations that truly know who I am. And it's almost like it's privileged information. It's the same thing that happened back in the days with slavery. They separated the slave, the African, from their homeland. They separated them from their language. Then they separated them from their family. So you had a great deal, many of Africans, that once they were here, or maybe they were born here, they were separated. They were sold, never to see their brother, mother, whatever. This is the system that they did back then, that they kind of thrown a veil over it today, but they still do it. This is what I'm standing up against. And I'm saying that because I truly do not feel I have been around anyone that's my family. And I'm darn near 50 years of age. And this is part of an elaborate, not get rich quick, because this happens over a period of decades. But if it happened to me, this has been happening prior to me. And I said, I pray to the Creator I believe in that it won't continue after me, because of individuals choosing to place children in a position to be sexually molested and abused so that they may then be the money or income for someone else that builds a prison, and they get paid by the government to house prisoners. So this person's going to be a pedophile. He's going to go to jail. And the person that owns these private prisons, they're getting paid off of you being a pedophile, but they got a hold of you guys when you were young. It's people picking and choosing. America is not what for so long I thought it was. It's not. I had a choice right now. I would step off of this land Because at the time when I decided in the military to give my life to this country to protect it, I needed, as I stated, I needed to be protected from America. That's what I feel right now. And because I will say this, and then I'm gonna end this. There were two people that America was founded by: crooks and religious people. And ultimately, that is the decision that they placed in everyone's hand, whether they realize it or not. You're going to be a crook, you're going to be a darn good crook, and we're not going to catch you, and we're going to salute you for that. Or you're going to be a religious person, and you're going to be a darn good religious person. And for a great deal, many of you, as I'm stating, Catholic priests, you are Catholic priests right now because you were afraid of losing your life as a result of the trauma and the sexual abuse that you experienced as a child, forced you to run to the church for protection. That's where they wanted you to go, because it's all about money. So I don't know how certain priests or people in the church are going to take this. This is a truth for me. And this goes so deep to the sense that I would say that, at least on my behalf, for me to know that the CIA was involved in my life from the beginning, being in foster care and being sexually abused and molested, and then being told that I was going to go into the military, all done covertly, of course, but I see all of this. I'm very good, as I stated before in other videos. I love systems. I love figuring out how systems work. That is my gift. Because once I get one piece and then another piece, and then these pieces are related in some way, and before you know it, I got the entire puzzle in front of me. I'm able to see the story. And I'm going to say this again. A lot of you are priests because you ran to the church because you were afraid of losing your life. And as a result of that, the church has shouldered and sheltered you guys and paid the children that you molested. Mind you, the children that got that money, those adults, they probably got some of it, but a lot of that money went elsewhere. It's a way you wash money. Let's put it that way. Because we do know that there are organizations or people that donate a great deal of money to the church. A great deal of dirty money. Money with blood on it. And there's only one way to clean that. For them to have priests that are abusing children and then have those children sue the church. So the church has to pay these children for the abuse done by these priests. And there you have your money clean. Do you get how that works? Because that's all we're hearing. Every year, something, every other year. Church getting sued, paying this and that, priests molesting again. No, it's all a part of this money washing, laundering thing. Again, I don't know who's going to hear this. Where you, priests, fail the community is not only in the deviancy that you exhibited because of the childhood trauma that manifests in your life, but you failed the community because when you had a chance to stand up against it, you chose to sit down and cower to protect the very life that you have, which was constructed in a manner for you to not want to lose it. As bad as it was, you still chose to cower and not stand up and recognize how you were being used and manipulated by the very institution that you ran to for protection. I'm going to leave it like that. I don't know who's going to hear this, but I knew I had to put that out there. And as you guys would say to anyone, Catholic Church, Christian Church, God bless you guys, okay? the God that you truly believe in, if you search yourself, you'll find that everything I stated here is true. Where you guys have failed the community is standing up to the things that happened to you so that these other things would happen like it was supposed to. It was designed to do that. That's what a lot of you are not understanding. You were designed, it was designed rather, for you to be abused and then you to go on and abuse children so that the church be sued, went through that. God bless you guys.